Aloha mai kako, a come by the curtain call from a distance, a program of reviews, previews, interviews, and features of and or with the great art and artists on Maui and beyond. I'm Paul James Brown, and I'm coming to you from my home office where I have been conscientiously practicing self-isolation. Alexandra Pelosi has made 14 documentaries in 18 years. She was a field producer for NBC News for 10 years before she made her first documentary on the George Bush campaign in 2002. Journeys with George was nominated for an Emmy. Sheila Nevins, the head of HBO documentaries until last year, when she left to start MTV documentaries, convinced Ms. Pelosi to leave NBC and make films. That is what she has been doing ever since. She has an intense, disarming style that engages her subjects and brings about candid revelations and truthful moments. Her interviewing technique is rather unique as well. She handholds her Sony video camera while she carries on a conversation with her subject. Obviously, she has other camera people along with her for many of her shots as well. On October 23rd, her latest film, American Selfie, will premiere on Showtime at 9 p.m. Eastern. According to Variety, quote, a major Oscar campaign is planned for the documentary. Showtime's synopsis for the film states, quote, American Selfie raises critical questions about the stark divisions in how Americans feel and asks if it's possible to ever find a way to a more perfect union.
Our nation right now is divided in half.
Everybody is here because they want people to know on their Instagram.
Why did you come today?
I believe this whole thing is orchestrated to bring America down. Take those things off.
This whole thing is just a big show. Do you think this is a turning point in American history?
I think it's a turning point in the history of the world.
Where are all those Christians that talk about helping people?
Is this the darkest chapter in American history?
Stop! Go, go, go!
It's gonna get worse.
People told me to go back to where I'm from. I live in Northeast Minneapolis. That is where I'm from.
Do you really need that new iPhone?
No.
So why'd you buy it?
Because I want it.
This is all going to end up in a landfill.
I'm more afraid of cops than Corona.
America's trying to find itself, but it's too late.
Can anybody have a conversation here?
It's over, baby.
The best is yet to come.
As unthinkable perils engulf the land, Pelosi bravely captures the rising tensions among warring factions that eventually spill over and erupt into protests in the streets. The film focuses on three major issues: the pandemic, civil disobedience, and demonstrations concerning police brutality and systemic racism, and the political polarization in the country, with the backdrop of one of the most consequential elections in our lifetime. The film premieres on Showtime at 9 p.m. Eastern on October 23rd. I decided to take a look at two of her newer documentaries to see if I should get Showtime to see her latest. Both of the ones I'm reviewing here are on HBO. The first was made in 2016, Meet the Donors, Does Money Talk?
This year, the price tag of the presidency will be almost $6 billion. So who are the mega donors bankrolling this election? And what are they getting for their investments?
Your whole life writing checks to Republicans, you wanted to get some law passed and they all voted against it?
Yes. I got maybe not that much influence, but a huge amount of access.
This is not a liberal issue or a conservative issue, but it's at the core of what America is.
I like to be in the game. It's fun.
Then I looked at Outside the Bubble, a road trip with Alexandra Pelosi.
I may live in liberal America, but I know that this is not the only America. What we rarely see on TV is people having genuine conversations with people who they don't agree with. So I'm bursting out of my own bubble to meet people in communities across this country where the big issues have erupted, to see what we can learn from listening to our fellow Americans.
So these are the refineries that are causing global warming.
Just because you say it doesn't make it true.
So you think this location is proof that we need the wall?
I think it's proof that it works.
I just respected somebody that actually took us into consideration about coal mining and how important we are to the world.
We're in an epic battle for the soul of the United States right now.
I'm going on a road trip into the heart of America to meet voters who don't see the world the way I do.
Meet the Donors begins with one of the most idealistic films ever made, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, starring America's fair-haired boy, Jimmy Stewart, that put forth a naive, unrealistic image of what Washington was in a more civil and sadly bygone era. Ms. Pelosi wondered what the mega donors get for their money, so she got a list of the biggest donors and asked to meet with them.
How much money have you given to candidates?
But it's in the millions anyway.
Given and raised, probably $100 million.
You want to know the truth? I don't remember.
She was able to get with many major donors from both sides, including George Soros' son Jonathan, T. Boone Pickens, and now Governor J.B. Pritzker, who was then the head of his family's foundation, Jeffrey Katzenberg, and many investors you have never heard of. However, try as she might, the Koch brothers, who are among the largest donors in U.S. politics, refused to talk to her. One of the things that jumped out at me was her bold question to everyone she interviewed. What do you get out of this? The Republicans, to a person, said they never got anything and never expected to get anything. There was no quid pro quo they promised. Her next question was then, why do you give this money? Each of them said, because they want the best for this country, or the money was needed to support the process, which is the best in the world. So they wanted to invest in the success of that system. The Democrats, on the other hand, were absolutely honest about their reasons. Access, getting to play with the big dogs, being able to pick up the phone and have the president answer it, partying with the president, or being able to get their agenda paid attention to.
Remember, this is Obama in my apartment. Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton.
You have some serious art in this place.
Me kissing Bill, that was good.
I have a picture of me, Hillary Clinton, in my old cap. It's on my Facebook page.
I don't use the word spend. I say that I'm investing.
She didn't just talk to individual donors, but she went to lobbyists as well, who by far spend more than anyone else. One of the most powerful moments in the entire film was when former Mississippi Governor Haley Barbour looked into the camera and said his pitch to his prospective clients is,
You don't want the government to do anything for you, but this is about trying to make sure the government doesn't do anything to you.
The film then travels to New Hampshire, where the fight to get money out of politics is being stoked by Ben Cohen of Ben and Jerry's, who points out who gives money and how much, and has started an effort to stamp money out of politics. That red tube represents the amount lobbyists give. And finally, Ms. Pelosi travels out to Block Island, where mega donor Vin Ryan talks about campaign finance reform. He calls our country a plutocracy and defines it as, quote, a government that is organized and run by a few, and that few is who writes the biggest checks. Ms. Pelosi summarizes,
as more money is pouring into our elections than at any other time in our nation's history, it begs the question, is this still a nation of, by, and for the people? Or have we become a nation of, by, and for only the wealthy few? For the past century, many brave women and men have fought for the right to vote. But these days, only half of the eligible voters in America even turn out. Whether the donor's influence is real or just perceived, their money has clearly damaged the way Americans feel about their democracy. Perhaps if we got the big money out of politics, we could get more voters back in.
In 2018, Ms. Pelosi recognized that she might be in a social and political bubble. She determined that Manhattan is not America, so she set out on a cross-country journey to talk about some of the most divisive issues in America: guns in Sutherland Springs, Texas; women's issues in Alabama, remember Roy Moore; jobs, mining in Bobtown, Pennsylvania; climate in Port Arthur, Texas; race in Charlottesville; and immigration in San Diego. She comes away from the experience looking at America as neither red nor blue, but purple. She said in interviews when the film was released in 2018, I never had one ugly moment. Everybody was respectful and open to talk. She found everyone friendly and not as hardcore as they appear on cable news. She says people invited her for dinner and to stay with them. However, what she never acknowledges is her privilege. Sure, who is going to be rude to the Speaker of the House's daughter? Who is going to give her a hard time? There was even a segment featuring Ben Bergquam, director and founder of Frontline America, an ultra-right-wing apologist for Trump's America.
God bless Donald Trump for coming to the state. The leftist, communist, anti-Americans that are in this state that are demonizing him, shame on you. But God bless our patriots for coming out. God bless our president. Build the wall, protect American citizens first, protect American sovereignty first, restore the rule of law, and we will take this country back.
She shows him going to a demonstration in Berkeley where he is abused and bloodied, and he labels his abusers Nancy Pelosi's grandchildren. So what does she do? She introduces him to Nancy Pelosi's real grandchildren. And she tells her sons that he says he is at war with Nancy Pelosi's grandchildren. And her youngest, Thomas, says, I don't think he would win that war. Both of these films present perspectives from a feisty woman who asks tough questions and engages with her subjects in thought-provoking and informative discussions. I look forward to October 23rd when American Selfie, America Shoots Itself premieres. I will be getting a Showtime subscription to see it. Well, that's Curtain Call from a Distance for this week. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Paul James Brown. Ahui ho.